Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a film that I've wanted to watch for a while. I bought it at an FYE probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I had it as part of my Universal Monsters collection of movies, and this isn't a Universal Monster movie. It says they put it out, but I don't really count it as like a remake or anything like that. It's one that I've wanted to watch for a long time. It's technically a remake of the Bela Lugosi film from way back in the day, but it's based on the Bram Stoker book, Dracula. Now, I'm not a big Dracula novel guy, but I love the Bela Lugosi film. I think it's terrifying. I think it's super eerie, great atmosphere. And this intrigued me. Now, Frank Langella, sounds like a testicle. Anyway, he is in this, and you've probably seen him in some things like that movie The Box from a long time ago, like 15 years ago. Frank Langella, however you say his name, stars on this as Dracula himself. Laurence Olivier is in this as Van Helsing. He's pretty good. In my opinion, I don't think he's great, but he's pretty good. Donald Pleasence is in this. Now, mind you, this came out in '79, the year after Halloween. So Donald Pleasence was already a big name before Halloween. He's a huge name after Halloween. Then this comes out. So this is the thing. This movie's about an hour and 50 minutes long. It's a remake, like I said. And to me, I'm not a big fan of the 70s, to be honest with you. I just think the movies, the music, maybe the television a little bit too, is not very good. When I look in hindsight, it's one of my least favorite decades ever. Ever. But then we got the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, and I think all of that's pretty good. But this movie, coming out in '79, it had a lot of the issues of the 70s film stuff being a little slow. The Bram Stoker novel is slow. It's one of the reasons I don't like it that much. This is a very loose adaptation of that novel, but kind of for its own benefit, in my personal opinion. You can say all you want about respecting the source material, but this is one of those things, unlike Marvel movies or DC movies, where it kind of makes sense when you just keep making the same movie over and over again. This is not like the Bela Lugosi film in the fact of feeling like a theater play, on a screen. This is like an actual bunch of sets, bunch of locations. You have car chases in the film. You have hunting situations and big old castles. You have a lot of really cool stuff in here that I really liked. Real ships being crashed into like rocks and shit from the ocean. Anyway, good casting. I think all around everybody was good. Nina, whatever her name is, really good casting there. They do some really great shit with the makeup with her. I think it was her character. But anyway, I'm not super familiar with the Dracula novel. I've read it like twice in my life and I just fucking hate it. I'll never read it again probably. But anyway, this movie is essentially about a vampire named Dracula, as many of you know, getting to the European land. This is even before the whole, Jonathan Harker selling him the land stuff from the Bela Lugosi film. This is before all of that, or after all of that. This is when he lands in Europe, from overseas, Transylvania and all of that. And you just kind of have him going on his hunting spree and killing people and eating people and stuff. Sucking their blood and all of that. It's the usual stuff vampires do, the usual Dracula story, but it's the execution of how they do it, how they leave out parts, they might change certain things. There's not really like a bunch of blood and gore and stuff in here, which is respectful, I think. One of the coolest things about this movie, aside from the amazing sets, the locations, even the costuming to a degree, it looks really good as a period piece in my opinion. One of the best things about it is how it's toned down in color. I didn't know if it was a Blu-ray thing or what, but it's toned down so much on color saturation that it almost looks black and white most of the time, as a reference to the old Universal days in the 30s and the 40s with the monsters. And personally, I think stylistically, I really like that for what this movie is going for the gothic look of the movie. The gothic look of it is like Tim Burton before Tim Burton. It's post-Hammer horror movies, and I think it looks better than the majority of them that I've seen. Mind you, that's like 3 or 4 movies, maybe 5. Never seen the Christopher Lee films, so I can't really compare it to something like that. Even though technically those are not Universal films, those are Hammer movies. But comparing it to something like the Hammer films I have seen, I really like this more than that. But at the end of the day, I don't really love the movie that much. It's got some good performances, it's got some cool things in it, The way they kill Dracula, which is a spoiler, but at the end of the movie, the way they kill him is unique in execution, but awful at the end of it. At the end of that death, it's horrifyingly bad, the way the movie ends. I'm not a fan of that. The car chases and stuff, I can take or leave, because the kind of cars they're using is kind of cool to see that in a movie. But for a '79 film, this is impressively, extremely well made from the guy who made Short Circuit and, what was the other thing he made that I know of? Saturday Night Fever. John Badham is the guy who directed both of those. He directs this. Good director, man, for movies that are lower budget like Saturday Night Fever. And he does really well here. I think, again, all those sets and everything really make this film worth watching one time in your life. But overall, I would say the film and execution doesn't come close to the Bela Lugosi film, which, again, I prefer to the book. I prefer to every version of Dracula, whether it be the character or the movie, the story in general adapted. That Bela Lugosi film is amazing. It really is, I think. More so than people give it credit for nowadays, because of the things they change, the things they do in certain regards. I think that movie's just a masterpiece, for the most part, for what it could be. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close to being a masterpiece. And it's creepy, you know? It's creepy the majority of the time. This is not really scary, aside from one scene involving somebody who's not Dracula. Dracula himself, I have nothing against Frank Langella, whatever. Nothing against him, but it's something with the hair. Everybody mocks the costume looking like it's from the 70s and a disco thing, even though it is in the 70s. I get the joke, but it's the hair for me. As weird as that sounds, it's the hair for me that makes me not like his version of Dracula that much. It's not a bad performance, it's the costuming that takes you out of it constantly in this movie. But at the end of the day, I spent too much money on this. If you can find it for like $1 or rent it on streaming or on like Tubi or something for free, watch it that way. Don't spend like $15 on this like I did. I think I actually spent closer to $20 for this DVD Blu-ray thing. This was not worth the money to spend on it at FYE. Used, mind you, not even brand new, but used. It wasn't worth it. It's not going to stay in the collection either. It's going right in the Salvation Army box, and I'll never watch it again. Because I don't need to. I have the Bela Lugosi film that I love deeply. This is not really what I wanted from this movie or from Dracula in general. But it's kind of one of the better adaptations in the sense of like the things they change, so on and so on, but the budget and the sets put into it, they look really great, man. Anyway, what did you think about the Frank Langella, John Badham, whatever you want to call it, 1979 Dracula? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I'd love to hear all that down below, too. Let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. What's your favorite Dracula movie? Let me know that, too, because I am super curious. I'm not a huge Dracula guy. Outside of the Bela Lugosi film, a couple other ones that I like Dracula Untold, or the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie, which is goofy, but I love it. Outside of stuff like that, I'm not really a die-hard fan of the monster himself, you know? Even the Universal sequels to Dracula are not the best. You know, House of Dracula was horrible from what I remember. Or House of Frankenstein. I think both of them were bad. But it's been a long time. Anyway, what's your favorite version of Dracula? Is Frank Langella, whatever? Is he your favorite? Do you have another like Bela? I'd love to hear all that down below too. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.